Mhm.
Well, welcome back everyone to our weekly Tapinar. This is Talk and Tap with me, Sandy Evenson, and my co-tapping partner, Kandiee Campbell, host of the Awaken Hope Show through Brushwood Media Network. I'm so excited to be partnering with Kandiee on this, and you'll see us as often as possible. If Kandiee can't make it, I'll do something by myself, but we're here. We're dedicated to teaching you more and more, sharing more about the emotional freedom technique called tapping. Hey, how you doing, Kandiee?
I'm doing well, thank you, Sandy. I mean, I've had a few challenges come up this week, but who doesn't? You're
Well,
definitely looking forward to tapping through them.
that's pretty weird if I say, yay, you've got a challenge, because we want to be able to demonstrate how you can easily use this. And I just want to pipe in, first of all, to say, I got in the car today. I had to drive over to the dermatology veterinarian, which who knew there were, yeah, of course, they're specialists in everything, but been dealing with an issue with my cat, Milo, and fortunately, things have come out well as our just follow-up visit. But I got in the car and I do what I do all the time now because I don't drive a lot anymore. Don't need to, working from home, etc. And I don't know the area still. I've been here 6.5 going on 7 years, and even though I know where I'm going, I got my Google Maps yelling at me for where to get off the interstate, etc., to be sure I don't, get lost. And I start with just tapping on the steering wheel and keeping myself a little bit more grounded, because if I start getting worried, guess what? I can't think. I'm going to miss the stupid exit, right? So I just want to encourage all of you to know that you can use this at any time. It really is a phenomenal process with lots of proven, peer-reviewed studies, et cetera, that go on. So let's get started, Kandiee, and talk to me. We did talk a little bit before we came on, but I understand you had a challenge and we need to kind of address that. And
Yeah,
hopefully everyone listening also jump
I
in.
had someone who took it upon themselves to try to protect me, best way to describe it, thinking that I was, was trying to I don't know, how do you say this? Basically trying to say the direction I was going with some of the radio show it did not feel like it was the right direction. And there were other suggestions this person wanted to make about the radio show. But I kindly listened and took in the feedback. But then I had an informed decision that regardless of what this individual was thinking, I was not going to go in the direction that, you know, she was it sounded like she was proposing. Not that, I mean, she said it wasn't, but the way she initially started the conversation was not one that,
Yeah.
it's like someone prefaces with, I'm going to say something and I don't think you're going to like it. Usually it's not
Yeah,
going on.
for sure. Well, so what happens for you, Kandiee? Because, and everyone watching, listening, just think about situations like that when you're confronted with a challenge like this. For me, it catches my breath, and I immediately, my go-to pattern is to kind of shrink back and get small and get like, oh God, here it comes. But what about you? Do you bristle up? Do you do what's
Oh,
happening?
I found myself in a moment wanting to confront and fight. I mean, I had to temper. I did start tapping on my collarbone because we're on the phone,
Good.
you see, but I did tap on the collarbone so I wouldn't say something that I couldn't take back easily
Yeah.
or get mad and react in a way that would have. I know this individual, and she tends to get, she intimidated or bothered, by certain personalities. I do know that. And if I'd allowed the anger that was coming up and the, you're not going to tell me how to do this. What's coming up in my head, it would have turned out really bad. But I didn't. I handled it. I listened, and then I said, I hear you. I hear what you're saying, but this is what I'm going to do. And
And well, so let's just pause on that moment, because in your head, you're hearing, you're not going to tell me what to do. I know.
mhm,
I think I know more than what you do right now about what you're talking about, actually, right? But you're not going to tell me what to do. So that rebel within you wants to stand up and fight for your right to be right, right? And this is so crazy, because we all have that in us, but you immediately started tapping. And this is what we've been talking about for a few weeks now, is this idea of, remember that you have this tool and nobody even has to know what you're doing, because there is such a thing as stealth tapping. You
mhm.
were able to just keep yourself grounded and calm to get through that conversation, knowing where you were going with it. But let's just see from the beginning of it if we can come up with a scenario to tap on first, and then, everybody know that this is how this works. So, when this happened, just gauge now, what was the first feeling that you got, or emotion that was there? What came into your head first?
When this was occurring,
Like you were thrown off?
you
Ta-
know, ironically, I had this kind of intuitive hit that she was not responding well to, because we had had a call prior to the
Oh,
call.
okay. So it's a
Now,
continue.
it,
Yeah.
it was a
Goes
three
again.
call, but it was, and she didn't like the answers that were given to her from this other individual in the call.
Oh, okay.
So I had this weird feeling that she wasn't
Yeah.
responding.
So where was the feeling in your body?
Oh, well,
And
it
this,
came from my solar plexus. So I was like,
yeah, right. It's right there. It's like you got a sucker punch, right? That
mhm,
she's challenging you.
mhm.
She's like, I don't think you're going in the right direction, blah, blah, blah. And you know differently, but still, that takes you back and you want to stand up for it. So that's really something. So I just want everybody to, as I said before, you're thinking about a scenario, might be an individual, a situation, could be anything from this morning or from, years ago. It doesn't have to be pertinent right now, but just think about that. And where do you feel it in your body? It's one of the first things that I want you all to learn. Tapping works without you being aware of that. But as you begin to feel into your body, it's going to be even more powerful for you. So just kind of look into that. Do you feel that in your stomach and your solar plexus? Or is it down in your gut? Or do you get that instant back of your head, neck kind of pain, that sort of thing? So just feel into it. So Kandiee, as you were looking at that and this, you did bristle up slightly thinking about, well, no, I want to confront this and fight it. And, how intense was that
Oh,
on a
I
scale?
was ready to go to fight. I
Yeah,
from
so
up
would that
there,
be up at 10?
I was, yeah, at least a 9. For
Yeah.
that, in that moment, yeah, I
Yeah.
wrestled myself up going, no, 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 no,
So
no.
what I'm going to do is, even though you have so much wherewithal and you have this tool in your tool belt with tapping, I just want to take us through the preliminary tapping that you would do in this situation. So everybody, you can do stealth tapping, like we said before. We kind of gravitate to our collarbone, and nobody realizes that we've got our hand on our heart and we're sort of tapping our fingers away, or might even visibly be doing that. But you can do fingertip tapping. There's a lot of different things you can do. But just feel into that yourself. Get a number for what that was like for you, or if it's happening now. feel into that 0 to 10 feeling of reaction. And we're just going to tap through what that can be like. And you can substitute your own words. Let's just get started.
Okay.
So when you have a situation like this, you're usually triggered and you're up high like that at a 9. Some people will say, oh, 10 plus, I'm way up there. I don't do a setup statement with the even though I feel this way. I don't go there because our subconscious mind that's taken over will not believe what we're saying. So we're just going to go right into the tapping right away. So let's just get started at the eyebrow point. Oh, oh my gosh, listen to her.
Oh my gosh, listen to her.
These people can really be analytical.
These people can be really analytical.
They want everything black and white,
They want everything black and white,
and they think they're protecting me.
and they think they're protecting me.
They want to be in control,
They want to be in control.
like I'm a little kid,
Like I'm a little kid.
or I'm a teenager.
I'm a teenager.
Well, I'm not going to listen to that.
I'm not going to listen to that.
She's talking about
She's
whether
talking
I'm good enough,
whether I'm good enough,
whether I can make it.
whether I can make it.
She thinks I'm going in the wrong direction.
She thinks I'm going in the wrong direction.
And my direction is off, and I'm just not going to be successful this way.
And my direction is off, and I'm not going to be successful this way.
And she thinks we should go a different direction.
And she thinks we should go a different direction.
And she really said, I'm just looking out for you.
And she really said, I'm just looking out for you.
But underneath it all,
But underneath it all,
I think she was afraid for herself.
I think she was afraid for herself.
You know how that goes when somebody prefaces a statement
You know how that goes when somebody prefaces a statement.
with, I'm going to tell you something you don't like.
I'm going to tell you something you don't like.
I'm immediately on guard.
I'm immediately on guard.
And I'm expecting negativity.
I'm expecting negativity.
And that's not how I work.
And that's not how I work.
So let's just stay on the collarbone, as I have not been calling out the points for any of you that need that. So let's just stay on the collarbone for a moment. So up in my head, I just keep thinking.
So up in my head, I just keep thinking.
They took it upon themselves,
They took it upon themselves,
trying to protect me,
trying to protect me,
telling me my direction was off
telling me my direction was off
and not right.
and not right.
So let's tap through the points now at the eyebrow. I listened to what they had to say.
I listened to what they had to say.
Side of the eye, I took it in.
I took it in.
Under the eye, all the while wanting to confront.
All the while wanting to confront.
Your nose, I let them talk.
And I let them talk.
Chin, but I wanted to fight.
But I wanted to fight.
But instead, I did some tapping.
But instead, I did some tapping.
Collarbone, but I kept thinking.
But I kept thinking.
Underarm, you don't tell me what to do.
You don't tell me what to do.
Top of the head, I know what I'm doing.
I know what I'm doing.
Eyebrow, I got this.
I got this.
Eyebrow, side of the eye, oh my God, I can't handle this anymore.
Oh my gosh, I can't handle this anymore.
Under the eye, I just want to tell her off, really.
I just want to tell her off, really.
Your nose, but I backed off.
But I backed off.
Chin, but I didn't stay small.
But I didn't stay small.
Collarbone, I spoke up.
I spoke up.
Underarm, gave her information she didn't have.
Gave her information she didn't have.
Top of the head, these analytical people,
These analytical people,
highbrow, all they want to do is see numbers.
all they want to do is see numbers.
Side of the eye. I'm not running from the numbers.
I'm not running from the numbers.
Under the eye. And I just wanted to stand up and fight.
And I just wanted to stand up and fight.
Under the nose. Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are?
At the chin. I do know more than you do right now.
I do know more than you do right now.
Collarbone. I'm just going to honor all of this.
I'm just going to honor all of this.
I'm going to honor how I feel.
I'm going to honor how I feel.
And how much I was taken back by this conversation.
How much I was taken back by this conversation.
I'm just going to honor all of that.
I'm just going to honor all that.
All right, just take a breath. So in this instance, when you have all of this like reaction coming up and you can tap, you say whatever's in your head, get it all out. You do not have to fix it. You literally just say, I'm going to honor how I feel. Of course, I would be stressed about this. Of course, I would be upset about that. I'm just going to honor that. You never have to fix it. If you feel like you want to put in some positive stuff, you can. But at this point, you do not need to do that. So I just want to check in with you now, Kandiee. How are you feeling in your body?
Relax.
She's yawning. That is release of energy. So all of that energy that was spinning around in her brain and in her solar plexus has now moved, and she can relax. And we've already said, Kandiee already knew that she just automatically gravitated to her collarbone and did some tapping. So she did not erupt into that confrontation. And this is the best part that I love about tapping, because you can just turn off that fight, flight, freeze, fawn response, right? She could have really reacted, but instead she responded with a very calm, this is what I know. I know I'm going in the right direction. I am getting other feedback you may not be aware of, right? So this is the thing. If you are prone to react that way, practice this. If you have someone or something going on where you really need to have that conversation, you need to have, some of us might say, the come to Jesus or the Lord or the universe conversation. It will be less of a confrontation if you do tapping first. And you can really go over the top with it. You can kind of have a day in court, and you can imagine this person or this group, these people in front of you, and pointing your finger while you're tapping on yourself and just saying, and another thing, and another thing. I feel this way about that, and you made me do this, and I feel blah, 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 whatever it is, really get it out. With some people, you may need to do this a lot. You may need to do several sessions, but ordinarily, when you do this, once you come down out of the accusations and the blame, you just say, I'm just going to honor that. You don't have to fix it, but you can also put that person further away, put that group. I'm just going to put you guys over there in your energy, and I'll be over here in mine. Because what you've done is release that tension between you, that friction, that calm. And the next time you see or speak to that person or group, they're different. They are absolutely different. It kind of blows your mind how that works. Have you had that happen, Kandiee, when you've done this kind of work?
It's been a while, but yeah. I mean, I will preface that the day before this event occurred that we were tapping on, I had my son do some stuff that triggered me that night. So
Oh boy.
we were sitting at the restaurant. He was basically essentially trying to tell me how to hold a baby. Okay.
Son, I hold you.
Aw.
I didn't drop you on your head.
No, I
Oh
dropped his,
my gosh.
well, actually he flung out of my arms. But I he was sitting there, so I was sitting at the table and I was just tapping on my collarbone. So I didn't say what I was wanting to say to him. It did work. And he's like, "Oh, so you're just gonna sit over there and pout?" I said, "No, I'm calming my nervous system down."
Exactly. And
But
it's
he was
that phrase.
getting that you don't know what you're doing, right? And
Yeah,
so
he's
it's
a new dad who's already been told that by his wife or someone else, right?
like,
So yeah,
tapping does manage to when I tapped on him, then he calmed down. I mean, he
yeah,
didn't know he was calming down, but he responded differently. But I sat there in front of him, just tapping on my collarbone and
yeah.
breathing. Like, okay, you're gonna sit here and
Oh
tell
yeah, yeah.
me.
That's so good. There's the collarbone points, everyone. That's the one where if you look at where the two knobs of the collarbones come together, um, and you put your fingers on that, and then you come out and down into the indentation. So we're sort of on an angle right there. There's a little indentation. That's the collarbone points, which you can do just one or both. But here's the thing that I learned after all these years of doing this, I've learned not too long ago that this is the universal point because the meridians, we're tapping on the endpoints of these meridians in our body. This is where it goes through up and down. It's the one point where everything goes back and forth. And so you can get right there. Um, if we put our hand on the uh, chest, on that breastbone, that's the heart chakra there. So you can actually, when you're putting your hand there, your thumb and finger are right there in that indentation. Some people will put their whole hand right up over the breastbone and the collarbone points. Now you're getting all of it, and you can just gently rub it or tap the whole hand. There's lots of ways of doing it, but that will just calm you down.
Mm-hmm.
Any of the tapping will do it. It takes 10 to 90 seconds to move that energy and calm you down. And remember, when you go into this fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response, you have nothing left in the thinking brain. Everything has gone out to the extremities to help you run or fight or hide or people please. And you cannot logically think through. And, have you ever had that conversation where you walk away and a second later you think, oh, I should have said that. Why didn't I say that? Well, you couldn't because your brain was too foggy from all of that reaction. So knowing that you have that tool can help you really work through anything, whether you're on your own or trying to deal with somebody else. It's powerful.
A certain
So
person
let's get a number now. Let's get a number. What's going on there?
with the tapping or where I'm
Yes. In your solar plexus and your feelings about all of this,
it
you were
feels
at a point.
I would say a 1.
Wow. So that's how quickly this happens. Even when you're a skeptic,
Mm-hmm.
you want to try it. I challenge you to try it because it works. It works. It's been proven over and over again, clinically, evidence-based, over 100 peer-reviewed studies. There was a recent review done on all those 100 studies too, and they were all, again, acclaimed that yes, all of these things are correct and they do absolutely work. So yeah, pretty phenomenal.
I will say this. When I first was introduced to tapping, I was skeptical. I was like, how's this gonna work? And little by little, I wasn't as consistent as I am today. I
Yeah,
didn't
well, or not.
tap
Yeah,
regularly as I do today. But looking back now, I'm like, I see the difference with tapping now when I'm stressed or something confronts me, like my son. He's studying to be an attorney. Ah, who knew?
Oh, good.
And yes, we butt heads sometimes, but I've learned when he says something in the past, I would have reacted to him. Now I just go and I just start tapping, and he
Yeah.
doesn't know what to do with that. He'll make a snide comment, but I'm just like, no, I'm calming
Yeah.
myself down,
Yeah.
and it works because in the past I would have just lashed out at him and just gotten mad, and it
Escalated.
would have escalated.
Yeah. And, if you think about it too, there's the infant
Mm-hmm.
in all of the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And we know from our studies with this and learning that our reactions, our go-to survival patterns come from back then, from in the womb, birth through age 12-ish. There will be times when we create these ways to respond, to protect ourselves and to get our needs met.
Mm-hmm.
So, how wonderful there you are, not holding baby right, but you're tapping.
Yeah.
And baby feels that calmness in you.
Yeah.
There's your son realizing it and feeling the calmness, not even understanding what's going on. But the whole play, that is just so powerful. I love that example. That is really cool.
But I think he's learned to, because of our history,
Uh-huh.
he's knows how to aggravate me and, egg me on, so to speak.
Yep.
But now, instead of feeding into where he thinks I should go and creating, see, I told you so type conversation, I just go into tapping, and then he has nowhere to, and he can make a snide comment or something, but he has nowhere to go because
Yeah.
I don't feed into his drama or into his
Pushing your
story.
button anymore. You don't, when you do that, it's like, you're ignoring, basically, not going there. And I'm not going to feed off of that.
Mhm.
And that is the fastest, best way to just cut somebody off like that. And, you love your son, but he's coming at you. How wonderful that you can respond that way. And these new babies in your life, these two little grandbabies, are going to grow up learning how to use that tool, how to
Yes,
calm
I'm
themselves.
going to teach them tapping when they can.
There are some great books now for kids. We gave my partner Ray loves to give children's books to adults. So a lot of the parents got these books, and then we also give, like, usually if a child is maybe a 5-year-old, we'll go for a 6 or 7-year-old book because we want to, just give them something that's not at their level. We'll give them a little more. So the way they're being raised, because of how he is, they're okay with it. It all works. But there's one by, it's from the Tapping Solution, Nick Gortner.
Mhm.
Can't remember if it's him or his brother that wrote it because his whole family is involved. But it's all about tapping for children. It's a picture book, and it's like bear hugs and I forget how it all goes, but they have these little words like for animals. So when
Mhm.
you're tapping on top of your head, you feel like a monkey. You're tapping under your arms and you're like a monkey. And so
Yeah.
there's these, gorilla thumps on your
Right.
collarbones, and these big bear hugs, which are really, that. So
Mhm.
it's a really cool way. And the youngest granddaughter, Ray, has is now 5, and she's been raised on that book since she was tiny. They have read it to her, and it's really fun. So yeah, you're going to have a blast doing that. And I can end with this one thing about that, because when we were in training, one of our mentor coaches was talking about her daughter who'd been raised with the idea of using the tapping, and checking in with her body and how she feels. And she
Mhm.
was young, and we'd been learning about how the energy of being nervous is exactly the same as being excited. And if you really check into that with yourself, it is the same sensation.
Mhm.
You can be spinning in your mind and being really nervous and worried, or you can be really excited. So she created and coined a term. She came up to her mom and said, "Mommy, I'm nerve sighted." I have used that ever since to, not only teach, but to feel into my own things. It's like I'm nerve sighted. If you're getting ready to do a show or you're getting ready to present on stage, for instance,
Mhm.
stage fright is real. Singers and actors will all tell you, comedians, they'll all tell you about it.
Mhm.
So we have it too. But if you harness that energy with tapping, and it's phenomenal what you can do. Any final words there? Tapping?
It just works. I do it now more. I am definitely more consistent, and I can attest that it works. And even when I'm working with my clients, I'm just like, if you're having the fleeting thoughts, and this is off of anything, if you're having, like, my client has thoughts that come in that are really not good thoughts, I said, when you have those thoughts come in, just start tapping. Don't worry about the words so much, because they're very not good thoughts. They're very damaging. But I said, don't entertain it. Just tap on it and let.
Yes. You say them out loud though, or to yourself, the things that you think are so negative and are not good. You can say them because nobody else gets to hear it but you. And you just let that part of you express it because that's been in you for a long time and you
Yeah,
just realize it. So tapping without words absolutely works. But if you're in a space and time where you can say them out loud or just in your head and say them, I'm really so upset about this. I'm
mhm,
so anxious or I'm afraid or damn it, I'm mad. Why did so and so say that? Just say whatever is there and tap.
it
And
really.
just tap along without any words. I do that walk around sometimes. I'm carrying laundry in one arm and tapping my collarbone, walking up the stairs to the second floor because I feel something going on and I need to just keep myself calm.
Mhm.
And another place that I do it all the time, I'm watching some TV show and it gets to a sad part. Oh my God, I'm tapping on the side of my hand. I'm sort of leaning forward, they're between my legs. Well, don't ever anybody see me, but I'm about to cry. And it just really helps me get through those emotional moments. So anyway, I ramble on. Thank you for being here, everyone. Please, please know that you are loved and we see your beauty. We see your light shine brightly.